Hello everybody, and welcome to a little patch rundown kind of thing, not necessarily for the new Ultradrop, which came out yesterday for Wildstar. It was called Strain. It's really freaking awesome. This is my character after playing Strain for a bit. I've got some of the cool Strain armor, and I've got the Rest in Peacemaker sword. This is from the PC Gamer voting thing that they did post-launch, or pre-launch rather, and I actually have an extra key for the EU, which I'll be giving away hopefully this weekend, so you can have this awesome freaking sword. I really, really like it. It's just a little customization thing that you put on your character, and it covers up your old sword. So if you have a really stupid looking thing, you can have this awesome thing when you level up. Super cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what was added in the patch, what the how the patch is actually playing, what their current release schedule is for patches, and what my plans are for the videos for doing them. And then at the end, we'll talk a little bit about how I'm feeling about Wildstar after playing for a month. So let's start with some of the content they've added. Well, the first thing they added was a lot of housing stuff, between little customization things you could put down and little plot things that you could put down on your house, it's really cool. I really like that they did that. So, they give content to the people who really like housing and are super creative in that, which is awesome. Then they also added a ton of armor, as you see. My character's wearing some of that. It is reputation stuff. They've also added a mount with that. It is reputation bound, so you have to pretty much do the reputation grind in order to get some of the stuff. Although I've only done it for a day, and you can tell that I already have some of that reputation to get the things that I wanted, so it's pretty easy to do. Then they added 2 new zones, an entire daily zone, and then a zone that it has 2 dailies in it, but it's mostly just a story zone, so it's got questing and stuff. So if you're really into the story and you're interested in what the Strain is doing and Dressura and all that stuff, that's a good zone for you to go level through. It's at the top end of Grim Vault, and I'll show it here on the video in a minute. But overall, they've added a lot of content. The only people they have missed were the PvPers. I mean, you can't really blame them for that. I mean, they added a huge freaking zone, 2 zones, in fact, and one of them, it just happens to be really freaking huge, which is impressive enough. So the fact that they didn't quite get to the PvPers may be a little sad, but it is understandable. That being said, the next patch, which I'll talk about in a minute, is going to have a ton of PvP stuff. So it's got the PvP armor changes, it has the 2 battlegrounds apparently, and a ton of other stuff. Now let's talk about that a bit. They so far have had this monthly release schedule. That's their plan. Every month they want to release a new Ultradrop, which is their version of a patch, right? The reason they're doing this is because it's their philosophy to have quote-unquote premium content. So they want to give you a reason to continue subscribing. And that's actually a really smart idea, right? If they're constantly giving you content, you always have stuff to do, which means you have a reason to subscribe to the game. Games in the past have done a very bad job of keeping people interested. Let's look at Warcraft, and they're losing subscription numbers and stuff. That has a myriad of reasons why they've lost subscribers over the years, but for the most part, they don't put out patches very often, which is a little unfortunate. They're looking to change that, Miss Pandari, or not Miss, but Warlords of Draenor, or whatever it is. I don't play WoW anymore, which is really good, and that's good for all the people who really enjoy WoW. But that's not the only game that has struggled putting out content. The reason, and the main reason I left Star Wars was because they couldn't keep up with raid content. They couldn't constantly put it out at the rate that we were consuming it, which is really unfortunate. Part of that is because it wasn't necessarily super hard, so you can get through it really quick. Heck, some of the guys in our guild got the world first kill on the Dread Council for Nightmare, and they've been working on the timed run. But most of them are pretty much done playing now because they're tired of that content, and they're not getting new raid content for a while. So same reason why I left, and what Wildstar is trying to achieve here is they're trying to put out content on a constant basis. And I'm really skeptical about that. Don't get me wrong. I'm super skeptical. Because let's see here. They put out a patch within the first month of the game being released. Has a lot of content. Super impressive. Now what they're doing is this week, apparently, they are putting the next patch on the PTS, on the public test server, for people to start testing that PvP stuff. that is, to me, that is mind-boggling. I don't understand how they could develop content that quickly. But pre-launch, they did say we have a year and a half of content already planned, and it's pretty much good to start rolling out, which is really good. I just don't see how they're going to keep this up. I'm super skeptical about that. I mean, let's be honest. I would be fine with a 2-month, maybe a 1.5-month schedule for content releases. For a while there, Star Wars was trying to do 6 weeks, which is roughly that, and they couldn't keep that up either. It's now like 8 weeks plus, definitely plus at this point. And for the most part, I would be okay with a 6-week schedule. I mean, they've given us enough content in this patch that I could keep myself busy for that time. And I haven't even done all the freaking endgame content. I haven't even started raiding. I'll talk about that. But damn, like, they've given us a lot of stuff to do at endgame, and for the most part, this is the most busy endgame I've ever seen in the launch MMO. You know, it has so much stuff to do once you hit 50 that you're going to keep yourself busy for a while, and it's going to keep you subscribing. It's a really smart business plan that they've gone with. Do I think they can keep up the monthly release schedule? Maybe not. But even if it's a 2-month, I would be okay with that, because it's better than games that I've played in the past. You know, I consume the content pretty quickly, but at this point, I still haven't done all the stuff that I want to do. I haven't started raiding, so let's talk about that. I've been constantly helping the other guildies learn the veteran dungeons to get silver, but that means I myself haven't been able to do that. Now, I got into a group with the more experienced people in the guild that have done it, so I'm not sitting there teaching them, and we did Storm Talon in 21 minutes last night. You only need to do it in 30 minutes, and typically with a veteran silver dungeon in Storm Talon, people will get it at like 28 minutes, 29 minutes. We did it in 21 minutes. We blasted through that thing. So I know I'm capable of doing it. I just haven't had the groups to do it yet because I'm teaching everybody else, which it's kind of frustrating, actually, because helping everybody else get attuned has actually brought me down a bit, and it's kept me super busy, which means I wanted to do a patch preview on the PTS. I have it downloaded and everything. I was going to jump on and try the strange stuff, which is all this stuff that you're seeing now, and the dailies, which is primarily what you're seeing now, but, you know, the other zone, and show that off, and I never got the opportunity because I was so busy. That being said, I wanted to also do a patch rundown video, which is what I normally do when a new patch comes out, and I add a little bit of humor in there, but it's quick. It's quick consumption. You watch it for 1 to 2 minutes, and you get the general idea of everything that was added in the patch, right? Not the little nitty-gritty details, but the general idea of what you get in the patch. And I didn't have the opportunity to do that either because, once again, I've been super busy. In the future, I am going to do that, definitely. This next patch, I do plan on getting on the PTS and checking it out, especially that PvP stuff, and seeing what they have to offer. And I'm really curious what they have to offer, because this patch was so big. It's like, is the next one going to be that big too? Because that would be great. So that I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to call it an Ultradrop preview or what, because that's what they call their patches. I'm going to stick with the Ultradrop name. I just don't know if I'm going to call it an Ultradrop preview. Same thing goes for the rundown video when the patch actually launches. And those of you who've seen the Star Wars stuff know what I'm talking about, like how I do those. So I know that there's a more clever and creative name to call it other than an Ultradrop rundown. But if that is what I end up calling it, then that's what I go with. If you guys have any better ideas for either one of them, the preview or the rundown, let me know. Try to keep Ultradrop in there, and I'll end up using it as a name if it's better than what I've come up with. So, yeah, I plan on doing content for that stuff, and I just haven't had the time because I've been trying to get my attunement process done so I can actually start raiding, so I can start putting out guides for everything, and it's just a myriad of content that I'm backed up on Wildstar because I need to do other stuff. I mean, I still want to do a combat guide on just the general how to play Wildstar, because it is quite different than most MMOs, and it's pretty hard to pick up because it's got a learning curve that's pretty steep. You know, as opposed to Star Wars, where if you've ever played WoW, you can jump in on Star Wars and feel pretty comfortable. This is a slightly different process. Like, most people don't know that if you interrupt an enemy's attack, you get extra damage on that person. Their health bar will turn purple on the standard health bars, not on the ones I'm using right now, because my other ones are broken because of the patch. But for the most part, if you interrupt while something is casting, you get additional damage on it, which means bosses go a lot quicker if you're interrupting their attacks. You gotta be coordinated with that, and just people don't know that, and I would like to have guides out for that kind of stuff, and I just haven't had the time, unfortunately. So what do I think of the content that's put into the game? Because obviously I'm doing the dailies and stuff. Well, I really like it, and thus far I'm really enjoying the game still. You know, I've been playing for a month now. The game's been out for a month. I have 3 months of subscription already paid for, right? 2 of them are from Cred. So that is this month of July. And then August I have done through Cred. And then here's a little pro tip for those of you who are playing and maybe have not gotten Cred yet and are going to end up paying $15 for another month of subscription. Here's a little tip for you. If you're running the standard edition of the game and you go to the main website and you upgrade to the deluxe edition, what happens is it gives you a month of subscription because you've paid $15 for it. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's what happened to me. So that's what gave me September. So I'm already subscribed all the way through September, and I've paid $15. And I did it to upgrade my game to the digital deluxe edition, as opposed to the, you know, the standard. So that could be something that you do instead of paying for your month of subscription. So it's just a thought. But overall, I'm still really enjoying the game. I really like the game. I'm still having fun with it. I haven't consumed all the endgame content, so I'm not bored of it yet, which is, you know, that's a good thing. Usually after about 2 weeks of doing everything and having completed all of the endgame content, I start getting pretty bored, but I haven't even started raiding yet. I plan on doing that super soon. You know, I'm going to start carrying the rest of the guys through their attunement process, and I want to put a guide up for how to get that attunement process done quick, because trust me, at this point, I am very familiar with this stupid thing, and I'm not enjoying the attunement process. I don't understand why I do understand why they put it there, but I don't understand why it needs to be there. I think they could take it out and it would be just as fine. Because that's why I want to play the game. You know, I want to play the game to raid, and I haven't been able to do that yet. So to me, that is really frustrating. So in that aspect, I'm frustrated with the game. But in the aspect of, am I still having fun? Yeah, the game is awesome. You know, the combat carries it so freaking far that I'm still really interested in it. And I've changed my build like 30, 40 times between DPS and tank and the way I do that stuff, and I really like that it's still super interesting. You may only have 8 abilities you can use, but the builds are so complex because of all the little intricacies, you know, on little fights, on just optimizing a boss fight better. You can change out like 1 or 2 things, or even just a few ability points, and suddenly everything changes with how you play that fight, and I really like that aspect. But am I enjoying the new content? And I would say, yes, I think that new dailies are good. I like the fact that there are new dailies. And for the most part, I really like the fact that, you know, I have more content to do with the strange stuff, and I've really enjoyed that. I haven't even started leveling an alt yet. May not do that for a while because the leveling process takes a while, but for the most part, I still have a lot of content in this game, and that is really good. You know, to me, that is a good sign that this game has a lot of legs on it, and will continue to, you know, put out content on a regular basis, and I like that. That's the reason why I left Star Wars, because I wasn't getting regular content anymore, and it's a good sign that this game is going to have it, so good on them. Now, let me know if you guys have any better ideas for the names for the Ultradrop preview and the Ultradrop rundowns, and like I said, I'll use them. I plan on doing the Rest in Peacemaker sword giveaway for the EU. You know, that's a little treat for our EU people who don't usually get cool stuff from us. Hopefully this weekend, maybe a little after. You'll obviously see it on the channel. I don't know how I'm going to do the giveaway yet. We'll figure that out. And then the last thing is really that I hope you guys are enjoying the game. I want to know what you guys think of it. If you've been playing all month, what do you think of it? You know, how are you feeling about the game? If you haven't played and you're looking to pick it up, what are you feeling about the game? You know, from what you've seen, I want to know your guys' thoughts on it, because I'm curious. You know, I know how I feel about it, but I'm really curious how other people feel, and I know how of our guildies feel about it, and a lot of them are really enjoying it still. So that's always a good sign, right? There's still a ton of people freaking playing the game. Every time I go into the main city, my computer just wants to die because there's so many people, and that's a good sign. You know, that's a really good sign. I like that a lot. Once again, let me know what you think about the game, if you're looking forward to anything in particular, and the names for everything. But on that note, I'm going to go finish my attunement process, hopefully this time, and get that all done and start actually making guides this month and the preview content. But we shall see you guys next time.